Hello, I am Virginia Mouseler, the co-founder of The Wit. What do we do at The Wit? With The Wit Fresh TV, every day we help broadcasters, producers and advertisers to find the best TV and digital content. We have a big database where we put every day maybe 100 of new shows from around the world. And the second service that I will talk about today is The Wit Spotter, where we track social TV buzz for all TV shows around the world. So every day we track if people talked about the new shows to help discover new content that might have slipped under the radars of classic TV ratings. So our main services are the Fresh TV, where we enter every day new TV and web TV shows around the world. The Daily Wit is sent to subscribers that are producers and broadcasters every day and that talk about shows that are not on air yet, but pilot new shows and projects. The Cool TV is trending new shows around the world, what works, what didn't work, what is the trending topics. We have a web TV zone and the Wit Spotter that presents the social TV analytics and digital best practice. So first of all, who talks and where? We made an analysis of the most talkative TV viewers around the world. Unfortunately, we wouldn't analyze Israel, but we observed that the most talkative countries are in Latin America. You see that Argentina is talking a lot, even if they're not the most, the biggest population of this ranking. And on the left, you see some Nordic countries are a bit social media shy. They comment less. Of course, we observe that on 32 markets. And of course, it depends on the type of programming. You see that in Latin America, people are very talkative, but they talk a lot about telenovela. That is a genre that make people talk a lot every day, every minute about those daily fiction programs. So, and this, since this September, what do they talk about? We analyzed the most talked about shows since September, so over approximately 6 weeks, from the 1st September to 2 weeks ago. And what did they talk about? They talk about 3 keywords: uncensored TV, unfiltered TV, and underage TV. So we're going to see examples of what we mean by uncensored TV. The very first title in our ranking of the 20 most talked about show was on MTV, a documentary, behind the scenes documentary on Miley Cyrus. She had 130,000 comments about this singer that is getting more and more outrageous. In this category also we spotted Preachers of LA on Oxygen, so which is of course not the biggest rating success in the US, but it was among the most talked about show. I remind you that it's not a ranking, it's a pick of shows that were in the top 20 most talked about shows in the world. So Preachers of LA in the US, Sex Box, which was a special on Channel 4 in the UK, and Manos al Fuego in Chile. So Miley, you don't need to a clip to see what it was, but Preachers of LA is the story of black preachers in Los Angeles. Let's have a look. Could we have some sound, please? So it inspired a lot of comments before the show. You see here on 9 July, as soon as the show was promoted, a preacher asked to boycott this scandalous show. And 5 hours before we taped it, 5 hours after we taped it, another one was very shocked about what they saw in this documentary. Another in the uncensored category, we chose a sex box that was broadcast on the 7th of October. It was, the promise was to take couples that enter a kind of closed cube. They make love in the cube, and then they go out of the cube and they tell what happened and if they liked it. Let's have a look.
Why do you volunteer yourselves for the sex box?
I think we just want to show that we're a normal, healthy couple. We just happen to be men and see what people think of that.
Oh.
I agree with what you said there. We're gay and proud of it, so...
So are you looking forward to going into the box, as it were?
Yes. I think we're coming, aren't we?
Yeah, now it's happening.
Yeah.
We're ready.
Have a great, great time.
Thank you.
Please give them a very warm welcome.
Otherwise I should do a biscuit.
Did it feel like quite a pressure?
It felt like the first time I was losing virginity, honestly. It was that type of pressure, wasn't
But
it?
it was certainly fun. We had a good time.
So there was a huge buzz before the special. And actually, after seeing the special, people were not so shocked, but they was mostly amused, as you have been, apparently. And you had a lot of comments, very humorous comments, and in particular from the host of the game show, The Cube, which thought maybe his cube had been perverted for more fun, maybe. So another uncensored show was, and very, very highly commented, was in Chile. So one of the, in our ranking of the countries that talk the most, Chile is a very, is a country that has not a huge population, but they have huge comments. So Menos al Fuego, it was a reality game show where you could, when couples could win money by betting on the fidelity of their partners. So a partner was subjected to a lot of temptations, and if they resisted, the other member of the couple would win money. So we'll have a look. I've been told that a video was not working. I hope it's not this one. Yeah.
Por primera vez, hombres y mujeres tendrán la oportunidad de saber qué hacen sus parejas cuando ellos no están.
Si te estás pegando o hija puede
Lo
pegar.
veo tanto.
¿Serán capaces de controlar sus instintos? Si es así,
So what kind of comments did you find there? Apparently people were mostly asking if all this was real or fake. And actually, I have a doubt. I think they took amateur actors because it's not possible to see that in a real couple, is it? So another category, we called it unfiltered. Unfiltered is really illustrated by three titles from the UK that are all these formats that are filmed with fixed rig cameras. Unfiltered, the three titles that stand out in social media this autumn were Educating Yorkshire. Educating Yorkshire is it's a spin-off of another show that was Educating Essex last year. It's actually a Shine format called The School. It's the life in a school in the UK, and there will be soon an adaptation in Holland. Let's have a look. Another example that was at the same time highly buzzed shows in the UK and also a rating success. The Fried Chicken Shop started as a special last spring, and the series started this September. It's the story of real and extravagant people that go to the same chicken shop in the UK. And the third examples, again from the UK, Crazy Bitches, you know, the classic pattern where crazy British go wild on the sunny beaches. This one was in Greece. It was on ITV2, it started in September. And the innovation in this one is that they organized a Twitter play-along. So there were some questions during the show, and you could answer on Twitter. Let's have a look. third category, underage. I don't say that the previous show were not underage, as you could see. But underage are shows that are specifically targeted on teenagers. The first is Cumbia Ninja, produced by Fox Telecolombia and broadcast on Fox Latin America. That became a real phenomenon since September. It's the story of a group of young musicians in a very violent community. Let's have a look. This was a real phenomenon with 30 million views on YouTube for all the clips, the singings, and they organized a local pan-Latin American karaoke contest, and we chose this Venezuelan contestant. Not sure she will be the voice, but she tried. So, and also amazing success on social media was from France. It's the new adaptation of the format That'll Teach Them. Also, it's made a huge success also because it's a mix of reality show, a mix of schools, young, and also comedy. And the innovation, it was, before the launch of the show, a tweet dictation to promote the show, to stimulate interest. You could write your dictation on Twitter, and then you had the correction, the results on the internet site. So they did a dictation on War and Peace from Tolstoy, and apparently we noticed that they didn't correct all the mistakes. So we'll have to check with the productions. And we spoke about scripted format. One of the scripted format that was adapted in Turkey, the OC, that started on Fox in 2003, was adapted in Turkey in September, and it was a huge success also on social media.
hayatımın en büyük değiştiğini çok iyi hatırlıyorum. Ne gün büyümeye başladım.
O günden sonra sahip olduğum şeyler artık sadece benim değildi. Ailem, servetim, mutluluğum.
O gün sakin hayatımıza bir bomba düştü.
Ama ne olma. O günden sonra hiçbir şey eskisi gibi olmadı.
So there were the three keywords we decided to develop this time, but we shouldn't forget, of course, the social media native shows that are the singing contest and triggered a huge amount of comments this fall. The first one in the ranking is La Voz in Peru, second Factor X in Portugal. You also had Tu Cara Misguina in Argentina, and the cooking contest Top Chef in Spain. And also, we shouldn't forget that the basis of social media engagement is the huge fan base before launch. The fan community is anticipating some famous US series that have established entertainment brands. This year, the winners in this category were Agents of Shields on ABC. That is, they had a geek fan base from the Avengers. The second was The Original, that is a spin-off of the Vampire Diaries. Sleepy Hollow, that is a famous title, and The Blacklist from NBC. The Blacklist has had a trailer that was hugely screened before the show. About Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they had a social strategy with two innovations. On the left, every characters in the cast were sending on Twitter a piece of the poster before the launch, and on the right they did a scriptease. Also, the characters, the actors, on their Twitter account, they were sending pieces of the scenario before launch. And to conclude this presentation, I liked very much this Facebook app from the Blacklist. It's you can be yourself interviewed by Elizabeth Keane and her partner at the FBI. And of course, I'm sorry, but one of you will recognize himself on the Blacklist.
State your name for the record. Place your hands on the table in front of you and keep them visible at all times.
We ask questions. Give us answers. Real answers. Not those lies you practiced at home in front of the mirror.
Besides, we already know about the plan. We don't think you're responsible, but it is important that you tell us which one of your contacts is. Immediately. Criminals on the blacklist like to hide in plain sight. They look like fathers, mothers, just average, ordinary people. But we know they're actually spies, gun runners, international drug dealers, militant anarchists, hackers, and killers. And we find it an unacceptable coincidence that you seem to know so many of them. Which one of your friends has traveled overseas the most over the last 3 years? That's good to know. We're not done here. Not yet.
So thank you very much. I hope this you shared this enthusiasm of the social media buzzers.